Among the least discussed aspects of Hamline University's effective firing of adjunct professor Erika Lopez-Prater is the role that the Council on American Islamic Relations played in the fiasco. Listen to CAIR's Minnesota Executive Director Jailani Hussein describe his efforts to influence Hamline University's decision to declare showing pictures of Muhammad in an art history class as Islamophobic.
I had the privilege and opportunity to visit Hamline University after this incident. I met with the staff, the Muslim students, and I conducted what we do, which is a diversity inclusion presentations about Islamophobia. And in my time there, I found the Muslim students hurt, pained by this incident. And after my presentations, some of the Muslim students had a panel. And in that panel, they shared how impactful, hurtful, and felt targeted by an incident that some of the students were not even in that class. And also other incidents that have happened at Hamline University. I learned from these students afterwards that from that presentation, that it was so moving, that emotionally moved the many staff who were there, the professors, and the administration.
When the university announced that it would no longer employ Dr. Lopez-Prater, Jailani Hussein did a victory dance and praised Hamline for knuckling under to his manipulation, something he characterized as leadership.
We as a community here in Minnesota and across the world would like to send a deep appreciation and a thank you to the Hamline University, and specifically to President Miller for her leadership to creating a safe, welcoming, inclusive environment for all students, including Muslim students.
The University of Minnesota Art History faculty put it like this. This happened without the due process of formal investigation, without an opportunity for Dr. Lopez-Prater to respond to the administration's ill-informed and unfounded accusations, and without good faith institutional investment and open dialogue or the restorative practices of communication and relational repair. The blame for the mishandling falls entirely to Hamline's administration. The faculty is certainly right that the Hamline University administration deserves the blame for its very confused handling of complaints about the display of pictures of Islam's prophet, but the Council on American Islamic Relations should also share some of the blame. CAIR is the organization that set the school off on the wrong foot. Without CAIR's bad advice, the university might not have made the quote-unquote mistakes which caused Dr. Lopez-Prater to sue the school for religious discrimination and defamation.
Professor Dr. Erika Lopez-Prater said following the complaint, she was told she wouldn't teach a course during the spring semester. She has filed a lawsuit against the university.
Dr. Erika Lopez-Prater says university leaders called her actions Islamophobic, affecting her ability to get a job in the future. After the lawsuit reached our desk last week, Hamline's president walked back some previous statements, saying, quote, "We have determined that our usage of the term Islamophobic was flawed."
This is from Dr. Lopez-Prater's complaint. During the community conversation, Hussein falsely asserted that Lopez-Prater showed images of the Prophet Muhammad for no reason other than to provoke, offend, and hurt Muslim students, and that doing so was Islamophobic. Hussein also stated that Lopez-Prater showed the paintings because she does not value Muslims the same as other minorities. Hussein made statements to the effect that non-Muslims do not have the right or knowledge to talk about the range of Islamic beliefs, regardless of their education or expertise. Professor Berkson, who attended the community conversation, respectfully attempted to question Hussein's false and discriminatory premises. When Berkson did so, Baker and Everett placed their hands on his shoulders and told him to stop. Berkson nevertheless spoke up, saying, "When you say trust Muslims on Islamophobia, what does one do when the Islamic community itself is divided on an issue? Because there are many Muslim scholars and experts and art historians who do not believe that this was Islamophobic." Hussein angrily responded to Berkson, loudly speaking over him in open contempt, and angrily equated showing depictions of the Prophet Muhammad to the crime of pedophilia, as well as Nazism and white supremacy. Hussein also alluded to the possibility of a violent Islamic response, pointing to the 2015 murders at the offices of the Charlie Hebdo newspaper in France, where several people were killed in response to the publication of satirical cartoons depicting the Prophet Muhammad. Hussein referred to the images Lopez-Prater showed in class, which again were reverentially made by Muslims for Muslims, as racist and disgusting. He called for them to be banned from campus. At no point did Everett or any other Hamline administrator interrupt Hussein, address his allusion to violence, or allow Berkson to finish his questions. Instead, Everett and Hamline demonstrated their support and agreement with Hussein's defamatory statements regarding Lopez-Prater and adopted them as their own. Media discussion of CAIR's role in getting the Hamline University professor fired usually takes the form of looking askance at the Minnesota chapter, but finding relief in CAIR National's statement on the matter.
Hamline University has been in the national spotlight all week after news broke that during the fall semester, a professor, Dr. Erika Lopez-Prater, showed images of the Prophet Muhammad in an art history class she was teaching. Well, tonight, the national chapter of the council is saying something widely different than the local chapter.
We have seen no evidence that the incident at the school was anti-Muslim bigotry. Un-Islamic is not the same thing as Islamophobic, and insensitive is not the same thing as Islamophobic. Islamophobic refers to bigotry. Do we like having these pictures shown? No. We strongly encourage people not to show them. They represent a very, very small late-stage part of Muslim art history, and so it's very odd to pick these out to represent that vast ocean of Muslim art. But an academic doing that with legitimate purpose and no bigoted intent, that's not Islamophobic.
But what does that mean? Will CAIR National discipline Jailani Hussein? Will it start campaigns to educate American Muslims about how showing images of Muhammad in art class is not Islamophobic? Or is CAIR going to try to have it both ways by condemning an action that was done in its name while simultaneously allowing it to happen? Right now, we can see Jailani Hussein calling out the triumphalist Muslim war cry, Allahu Akbar, at the university.
The university's response and the teacher's firing spark a fiery legal drama now.
Claiming that his position was that of the majority when all the evidence was to the contrary.
Is a small segment of Muslims that are okay with that, but the overwhelming majority of Muslims are not okay with it at all. And in this particular case, the Muslim student who raised the issue is not okay with it at all.
The national chapter of the council is saying something widely different.
We have seen no evidence that the incident at the school was anti-Muslim bigotry.
The Muslim Public Affairs Council issued a statement in support of the professor and urged the university to reverse its decision, saying in part the painting was not Islamophobic. In fact, it was commissioned by a 14th century Muslim king in order to honor the prophet. Misusing the label Islamophobia has the negative effect of watering down the term and rendering it less effective in calling out actual acts of bigotry.
I will say that there are some opinions in the Muslim majority world that may see this acceptable, and I don't want to dismiss that in any way. But the majority of the Muslim Ummah and across the world do not accept this.
But there is debate within the Muslim community. University of Minnesota PhD student and scholar Abdul Rahman bin Damnan wrote a Star Tribune op-ed.
So as a foreign Muslim student, I really was not offended by showing prophetic imaging.
The American Association of University Professors is adamant that the university is in the wrong in dismissing the instructor.
We believe that this incident and the act that that individual did is Islamophobic. We, however, never mention that she's a bigot because of that incident.
There are new developments in the controversy over Islamic art and academic freedom at Hamline University.
On Tuesday, Hamline's faculty issued this statement saying, in part, we reject unfounded accusations of Islamophobia, adding that we no longer have faith in President Miller's ability to lead the university forward. We had an opportunity today to talk to Jim Scheibel, president of the school's faculty council, about the decision.
Well, there's been a crisis on campus, and it's been viewed by the whole world People are aware we're the oldest university in Minnesota. A great tradition of leaders, of people being involved. We want to restore that reputation, and the faculty believes to restore that reputation, to move forward and even be better, new leadership was needed at the top.
The adjunct professor, Dr. Erika Lopez-Prater, said following the complaint, she was told she wouldn't teach a course during the spring semester. She has filed a lawsuit against the university. The National Council on American Islamic Relations says it recognizes the concerns and impact, but calls academic freedom important and encourages everyone involved to re-examine the situation with open minds. In St. Paul, Derek James, WCCO4 News.
So Jaylani Hussein can get possibly 2 people fired from Hamline University, but all the national office has to do is make a statement and it all goes away. CAIR goes from being a rogue group that gives Muslims a bad name to a defender of academic freedom. Smooth, right? CAIR's gratuitous and outrageous attacks on individual working-class Americans are going to continue in frequency and severity until the organization one day may succeed in inciting physical harm against one of its targets. Even then, there is no guarantee that the media, elected officials, or academia will ever see CAIR for what it truly is.
But in fact, the disregard for academic freedom in their actions is unbelievable.